One of my friends replied back and said, "Man, you made a big purchase. You went to Jamaica, and now you got braids. Are you having a midlife crisis right now?"
Mm.
And I laughed, but then I was like, I just we have that type of relationship where I feed into it. It's like, yes, of course I'm having a midlife crisis. I don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe I'm having a midlife crisis. But what happened is I went to my wife and I said, it has occurred to me that someone thinks that I've gone through a midlife crisis. She said, "You absolutely."
Yo, welcome to the cave with Mel, Troy, and Lex. The podcast with men that have a safe space. We on all platforms. You need to tune in, hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Welcome to Melody, the podcast with men that have a safe space. Welcome to Melody. Welcome to the cave with Mel, Troy, and Lex.
Start leaning more into comedy, man. That's one of the things. It's crazy. People either say it really blessed me, what y'all was talking about, or this was so hilarious. Yeah. I needed this laugh this week. So it's like we right in a good spot.
We bringing them both.
It's just a science, bro. We geniuses.
I know.
I'm trying to get y'all on that.
Melvin, we have never questioned your genius.
I said we. I didn't say me.
I thought you said.
See, I'm trying to get y'all on that. You see what I'm saying?
And I heard talking about us.
Right.
So that y'all believe that y'all geniuses, not believe that I'm a genius.
I know I'm a genius. What you mean?
I'm trying to get y'all on that. We geniuses. I'm trying to get y'all on
okay.
Because you always be so surprised. See, you always be so surprised. Like when things go well, you be like, that we got 16,000. I expect to get 16,000. I expect to get 100. When I post this, I'm like, this gonna do this better do.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. I'm reading this book called the Big Leap, and in the book, it talks about the upper limit problem, and the upper limit problem is, you can only have a certain amount of joy in your life before you have to be pulled back down. And a lot of times that joy is hindered not because of life, but it's hindered because of our mentality. I give you a prime example, and y'all be like, "Dang, I am like that too." You ever have a moment where you like, "Yo, life is good"? What bad is about to happen?
Nah, I've never had that.
I don't do that.
For real?
For real.
No.
I don't. When life is good, I just be like, life is good. I try to hold on as long as I can.
Yeah.
To life is good because I know it's not gonna last. So I don't go looking for the.
But
the
no,
end of
you
it.
just did it.
What?
You just did it. You just said, "I know this is not going to last." Now yours may not be as in the moment as mine is, but you have a concept of
this ain't gonna last forever.
This ain't gonna last forever.
Right.
But in this book, it more.
But I think that's natural though, because we know that everything can't be good all the time.
True. That's true.
So I think we all have that. It just may not be as overt. Because some people are like, "Oh, this is too good. I'm waiting for the ball to drop."
Yeah.
Or it can be like, "This is good, but if something happened, I know this is how I got to pivot or whatever."
Yeah. You're right. But in the book, it does talk about like having the concept of we'll self-sabotage ourselves. It didn't say
absolutely.
that.
I definitely self-sabotage.
We will self-sabotage because the moment of enjoyment is so high. And we haven't been there for such a long time. Right. It's not a level of comfort.
Right.
And so we will self-sabotage to bring us back to a level of, okay, I'm used to life being mediocre and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? First of all, for me to read this book was a big leap in itself because self-help books have always been demonized.
By who?
I get with to a degree.
Who?
There's some jokes about self-help.
Yeah,
like
there's
jokes about self-help.
There's jokes about it, and then there's also like because there has been like the Joel Osteen's type people who have capitalized on self-help and have incorporated God in the same concept. You know what I'm saying? And they make it seem that make it seem like giving your life to God is going to be. You need to live your best life type now. You know what I'm saying? And while there are some concepts, they harped upon your life should always be positive.
Right, and that's not real.
And it's not real.
Not
you
real.
know what I'm saying? And so it was a big leap for me even to be doing this and listening to it, because I'm actually doing an audio book, which is I'm learning that I'm an audio
Auditory learning.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're not a finger on the page. Yo.
I can be. I mean, there's moments where there are some type of literature that I do have to put my finger on the page and read word for word. But but doing this book, audio wise, like I'll go for a walk, put that audio book in. Man, an hour then went by. I didn't finish a quarter of the book. You know what I'm saying? So,
but do you count that as reading?
See, I knew he was gonna do that.
No, I'm asking. Do you count that as reading?
Because a lot of people don't consider it reading.
No, to me that's listening. That's not reading.
So I'm not practicing the art of reading.
I'm
not practicing the art of reading. I will give you that. But I am. But the point of reading is to gain knowledge. So I am gaining some knowledge of some.
Right.
So I'm sitting. And a book is nothing. Is nothing but someone sharing with you their thoughts and their ideas, but in word form. So I'm just doing it a different way.
I equate audiobooks to, remember when we was in elementary school and the teacher would have us all sit around and she'd read the book to us and we take it in? That's how I view audiobooks.
Okay.
Like somebody has me sitting in a circle reading the book to me for me to collect the information.
Right.
I don't consider, I don't consider, like, obviously it's not the act of physically reading, but to some degree we're partaking in the reading of this book because someone else is reading it to me. The follow-up that I had to that was the demonization that Black people always receive or provide to one another about how Black people don't read. Black people don't read. Black people don't read. Black people don't read. We don't read. We don't read. And the more, I guess, being a parent and having kids go through the learning system and education,
they don't read that either.
But it's not about them not reading. Is you start to learn that everybody learns differently.
Correct.
So you may be able to collect and retain information from picking up a book and sitting there and reading it, and that works for you, and you can gain knowledge. Someone else may be an auditory learner or a visual learner. They may need to consume the book in an audio format. They may need to consume the book in video format through YouTube or something like that. So to always say, "Oh, you don't read. If you don't read books, you're not there. You don't read. You got. What if I don't learn from reading the books? What if I need to take a different avenue?" So it's just always like, if you don't read, it's negative. People don't read. But what if I don't learn
that in that way?
You know what I'm saying? In that way. And I've kind of forced myself, like we talked about before, for comprehension type of thing. Sitting down and reading a book sometimes doesn't always work for me. Sometimes I pick it up faster by watching it. I can learn anything quickly. If you show it to me one time, I'm gonna learn it. It's a wrap. But sitting there reading the book, sometimes I gotta, all right, let me go back a page because I don't know if I really, you know.
That's the comprehension.
It's just like everybody don't.
No, agreed.
Read.
Agreed. Agreed. And I think a lot of times people have that one size fit all mentality when it comes to comprehension learning, that kind of thing. But you're right, auditory learner, visual learner. You got to be able to tap into whatever source helps you to obtain the information.
Yeah, I was watching Abbott in Elementary, and I forgot what class it was. I forgot what was happening. I think the principal had to cover for the main character's class. Yeah, because she was sick.
Yeah, and
she was covering for her class, and she was going through the lesson plan. And the kids kept asking her questions. They was like, I'll give you an example. She was like, Johnny has 2 apples and 2 oranges. How many pieces of fruit do they have? One of the kids was like, well, why does he have fruit anyway? And she was like, that don't matter. How many pieces of fruit does it? And then the kids weren't catching on. Later on, it turns out the character that played Everybody Hates Chris character came in, was like, they have to ask those questions in order to comprehend the whole. They need the concept. And so if they don't get the concept, then they won't be able to get the next step.
Right.
And lo and behold, I was like, I just learned how I learned. Just in that moment. Because the moment that you tell me something, my brain starts firing off questions. Why? You know, why this, why that? Because I can hear what you told me, but I need to know why you told that to me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we all learn differently.
Definitely, that's true. That's true.
I'm gonna circle back to that. Hey, yo, we back. We back in the cave, man, for another edition of Melly D's podcast. It's your boy Melly Mel, aka Melly Badass, aka Meek Mel, aka your favorite truth teller, aka if you don't want to know,
Don't ask me. It's your boy T. Roy, aka your neighborhood hope dealer. If you need some hope, I got something you could borrow. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow.
What it do though? It's your boy Dr. Life Coach Lace, aka NBA Old Boy, aka I'm him, aka the Menace. No relation to Dennis. Let's get it.
Let's get it. You say you're gonna circle back around.
The reason why I said I was gonna circle back around on that is because we had a conversation recently at E's birthday dinner when we were sitting at a table and we was getting into a back and forth about how understanding can promote action.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We was going back and forth about that. And my argument was, you don't need to understand to do. Was my no. I just listen. Just listen, because you're already laughing.
Oh,
my argument was, you don't need to understand to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason we was having that conversation is because of what Troy was just saying just now about how he learns. He uses the understanding as the foundation for taking action. Like he's not gonna act until he has the understanding. And what the point that I was trying to drive home at that, not calling myself God and do what I say, Lace. That was for the big G. The big G.
You right. You right.
It's just that understanding, depending on what we're talking about, understanding should not always be a prerequisite to get you to act on something or do something that you know you should be doing.
Give an example.
To like tie it back to relationships. We were talking about relationships specifically because I said that my treatment is non-negotiable.
Okay.
Like how I expect to be treated is not a negotiation. I don't tell you how I want to be treated, and then you bring a proposal back to me or a counter offer on what you're willing to do and see if we can meet somewhere in the middle. It's like, no, this is what I'm putting out there. If you can respect it, cool, we can move forward. If you can't, that's fine. We just won't be in relationship. Y'all said that was a crazy thought at the time. But you did say that was a crazy thought at the time. The point was, though, Troy was basing his argument off of, if I don't understand why your standards are what your standards are, or why you're asking me what you're asking me, I'm not going to do it. Or why? Not that I'm not, but it was, why would I? He was basically saying, I need the understanding to do what you're asking. And I'm saying understanding does not always have to be a prerequisite for you to just comply with something that is being requested of you, or you know that you should be.
And I just showed you how I learned I need to understand before I can go to the next point.
And that's what I'm telling you. You don't always need to understand to go to the next point.
Sometimes I just told you that's what I need to understand.
No.
That's not what I need to understand.
Saying, this, and that's exactly what I'm saying. Okay. You're basing your understanding as the foundation for doing. You're saying, I'm not going to do nothing until I understand why you ask me. That's what you're saying right now.
I mean,
I think. So Mel, this is what's always interesting about you, and I'm gonna break it down. Let me break it down. You speak in definitives a lot across the board. Like it's you're very black and white, which is cool because I'm black and white in some ways as well. I think what I heard from what Troy was saying, the understanding will help him meet the expectation that you have set for an action standpoint.
That's actually really good.
Because the understanding helps him meet the need. What you're saying is, you don't need no understanding. This is what I need. I just need you to do it. But for him, he can't do it without having some form of understanding to meet the expectation.
He said he won't do it until he understands.
He didn't say he won't do it. He said that's his learning style.
That's my learning style.
He didn't say he won't do it.
But if you want to help me help you, help me.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying, is you're using your understanding as a prerequisite to do.
Right, but so hear me out.
So while understanding may be helpful, while I understand the concept, like understanding can be helpful, it can help assist you, push you closer. What I'm saying is, it should not always take your burning desire to understand in order to act. But because just like y'all say to me, you're applying this to your entire life. He's applying that to
What
his
I'm saying,
entire life.
wouldn't that help deepen the relationship though? If you were able to articulate what you need in a way that he can understand to promote the action behind it. So I think what you're saying, I get it from your lens, but that's like saying I want you to treat me right. From Troy's perspective, okay, help me understand what that means.
If I say treat me right, and I give out a list of the treat me rights,
then he has understanding.
No, what he's saying is then at that point, why are those your treat me rights?
No.
Yeah,
Be quiet.
No, I'm saying
Hold on.
that's not the way I.
That's not the way you took it, but that's what
and
he's
part
saying.
of that is because I'm trying to make a connection with you.
Right.
Okay.
Like I'm asking you. I'm like, hey, can you bring me into your world so I could be able to make sure I treat you right? Yes, you gave me this list, but
which you can act upon.
which I can act upon. But what if there's a something outside of the list? I don't know how to treat you right in this area. So if I get to know you a little bit more and you share a little bit more with me about who you are, then I could be able to treat you the way that you want to be treated and the way that you want to be treated.
I'm not saying that understanding is not a thing. I don't want us to get lost in this. I'm not disagreeing with understanding.
Okay, so we got that on wax. We got he
I'm not
agrees that
disagreeing
understanding
with
is a thing.
I'm not disagreeing with understanding. What he has been saying, although you're trying to interpret it and articulate it eloquently on Troy's behalf.
No, I'm saying what I took
he
from
keeps
it.
saying
I
is,
use I statements, not we. I use I statements.
I interpret what the good brother is saying. I like how when Troy says something, you interpret what the good brother is saying. When Troy is speaking, now all of a sudden you interpreting what the good brother is saying. When I say it,
for being a good brother.
when I say it, I've been telling y'all this nutty. I've been saying since episode 1 that this nigga's nutty. He needs a 30-day supply. I have never in the history of Manly D's heard Lace go, what I believe I interpreted.
That's
and
not
I hear
true.
Mel
That's
saying
not true.
The good
That's
brother.
not true.
Anyway,
That's not true.
what he is saying is, I'll do it this way. I say, I'll use this. I say, treat me this way in these aspects, and Troy would say, okay.
Also,
Why?
yes.
And then, if I don't say why, what happens? For you, what happens?
I am befuddled.
Do you do anything though?
Yeah, I mean, I still
do you act on the list?
I do. I'll do what you say, but it doesn't help me.
So then he goes, if he says why, and then I go, well, it's because back in my life this happened to me, or I was experienced this situation. So because of that, I'm now asking and requiring people to do X, Y, and Z. Troy will go, oh, now that I found your reasoning good enough, I'm going to do your list. Now that you've given me your reasoning and I connect with it and I agree with it, I'm going to do your list.
No,
Which I'm saying,
I don't have to
And
agree
I'm-
with it.
but you're just
desire to
okay.
know.
You're just saying like, oh, now that you explained yourself, I'm willing to comply. Do you get what I'm saying?
I think
It's the after fact of what all I'm trying to get to, and it's not just Troy that does it. People do it because we use this understanding. I'm trying to get some understanding. I need to understand. You don't need to understand everything that someone is requesting of you. Sometimes you just need to do it, and we're basing our willingness to do off of our understanding. Like until I get some understanding, I'm not gonna. Or because you took time to explain yourself, and now I have a connection. Now I'm more willing to do. I don't know why y'all laughing.
No. I get it.
I don't know why you laughing.
No, listen. We were on vacation.
Laces.
Listen,
yo, Melvin need a therapist, yo.
Why do I need a therapist?
Like for real, because I get what you're saying, and I agree with you, good brother. I agree with aspects of what you're saying, good brother. What I'm saying is you keep saying the word compliance. Troy already said he would comply. Beyond that compliance, he just wants to have a level of understanding as the why behind
Right.
it. And I don't necessarily see anything wrong with that because he said he would attempt to do the action.
Yes.
But sometimes actions can be done in a space of excellence with understanding. That's all that I think is the missing component to the gumbo we making here.
Yeah.
And I mean, just like the group Escape said, what I need from you is understanding, baby. That's all I need is some understanding. Mel getting hot.
I'm not mad at the
Mel
argument.
getting hot.
I'm not getting hot. I'm not mad at the argument. Again, I agree with understanding. I agree that understanding can help bring context
Yes.
to what someone is asking, and it helps him. But that is not what he is saying. That's why I keep trying to tell you. That's how you presenting it, and he's latching on to it, and that's how other people are doing it. No, that's what you latching on to, and you interpret, and then he go, "Yeah, Lace, that's a good way you explain that, Lace. I'm gonna snatch that." That's what's happening right now, bro.
That is not.
That's what's happening right now. You know. Okay, we talking about hot. I was on you. Now we get on Troy. I'm gonna get on both y'all with this one. Now that you interpreted for the good brother, because
just like I interpreted for you, good brother.
When we have conversations, a lot of time, the reason why I get so frustrated, and there's a reason why I talk in definitive. There's a reason why I talk in definitives.
Yeah.
But the reason I get frustrated with y'all is because both of you are so committed outside of this studio to understanding and application and inclusion and all those things that y'all like to talk to me about and try to, instill in me as we have conversations or whatever.
Sure.
So you spend your life trying to understand others.
What is wrong with that?
Listen to that.
I know where you're going.
You spend your life trying to understand others and create connection and community through conversation and diversity of thought, etc. And then every time we get in this room and I start talking about something, you are committed to misunderstanding me. You are 100% you are 100% committed to misunderstanding me.
I understand where you're coming from. Did
Yeah.
I not lead with that?
Yeah.
I literally said
He
that.
did say
He is 100% committed to misunderstanding me.
I literally said that. I understand where you're coming from, but what I hear, I statement, not we.
I got you.
What I hear is XYZ. So I said that I understand.
Okay.
Now, I may not have articulated it in a way where you were able to receive that, but I understand where you're coming from. I saw a gap in practice where we're using a word to be definitive when Troy clearly said something else.
Okay.
That's all I was saying.
Let me reframe my question then.
So we're in the court of
Let
law
me reframe my question.
Yeah.
Does the giddy up happen a little bit faster for you after you've gotten the context?
It does.
So why couldn't you just giddy up as fast as you giddying up after the context? So to some degree,
God created
the
me
understanding. So this is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the entire time you had the capacity to do. You were moving a little bit slower. Even if you were doing it, you were moving a little bit slower. Then someone provide you the context that you want for your own personal understanding, and you go, all right, now I'm gonna run a little faster,
Melvin,
because they gave me what I want.
I'm saying
is, it's the act of making the understanding the prerequisite for action. That's all I'm saying.
Melvin, you are a coach, right? You've coached basketball.
Yes.
You coach basketball. You know what your kids are capable of doing, but they need someone there to help guide them and say, hey, y'all need to do this. Now, their minds, they're like, we're trying, but they need someone else to give them to say, all right, we down, but we can make this happen. We've done this before. It's like a pep talk almost in a sense. And so, in a sense, all I'm saying is I'm asking for some coaching. I'm just asking for some coaching in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Because you're telling me what to do, but coach me through it and help me understand the concept of why this is.
Like he
I
wants
don't
you to
disagree with
automatically
that.
know how to run a 2-3 zone. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
Rotation.
Rotate.
What I need to where I need to be, where my spots, those kind of things.
Right.
Just some
No,
coaching.
so-
That's
but
all. Just some
If
coaching,
you've already
man.
gotten the coaching and we've already have a
Now he
relationship,
wants you to execute.
and exactly execute. It's about execution. So
I agree.
after we've gotten established, after I've taught you the 2-3 zone, after you have concepts, which you do have a relationship with me, understand that there are certain things that your coach is going to tell you. You don't have full context of why he's telling you to do it, but the expectation is to execute anyway. You've been on a team before. You don't know all your coach's thoughts. You don't know why he's telling you, instructing every single piece of the game plan, because he's the one with the plan. But you don't have the plan.
But when he does tell me the why, it makes
you
all
move faster.
it puts the whole picture together. Because that's all
I'm not arguing about the
for
picture.
whole
You're
picture.
talking about the picture. This is why we always having two separate conversations. I've already isolated this topic to the act, just taking steps forward. You still talking about the picture. I have no disagreement with getting the picture. There's nothing wrong with getting the picture.
Okay.
It's waiting until you have the full picture to do. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
I understand what you're saying, but I'm also saying the thing that I'm asking from you is to give me the why. So why aren't you just doing the why? That should be the next question. Why aren't you just doing the why? And I already know the answer. The answer is I should just do.
No, because
and it's fine.
It's not that I shouldn't have to. It's just that there's not always going to be time for me to sit there and break down to you and coach every single step stage of the way. Sometimes based on our relationship and our interactions, you just going to have to trust that I'm telling you to do something and you just going to have to do it. I ain't got time all the time to sit down
Absolutely.
and coach you through every single. And if that's the prerequisite for getting you to do something, that's an issue. That's what I'm keep trying to tell you. If you need coaching every single step of the way, if you need context every single time how is that? Why do you need that every single time in order to move forward? I understand occasionally get in the picture. Understanding helps. You know what I'm saying? Like, we talk about it all the time, and I'm just going to use this because it's relatable. We tell white people they can't say, don't say the N-word. They go, why? Why can't I say why can't I say it?
Mm-hmm.
You say it. It's in the songs. Why can't I say it? How do you feel about it? Do you feel like sitting down every single time having to explain why they shouldn't need to say it? Why they can't just respect?
He coaches people.
Why they can't just respect that I'm telling you that's an offensive word. Don't say it. I'm just telling you right now.
But
It's
did the
offensive.
coaching right there.
It's not coaching. I just say it's offensive. Don't say it.
That's coaching.
That's
And then they go, why? Why is it offensive?
I'm not
What makes
answering
it
that.
offensive?
But that's what I'm saying. But
The why behind it, though.
The point being made, though, is that you gave the why, and now it's up to him or
To
them
accept it.
to accept it and create the action.
Mhm.
So you did exactly what y'all both need in some context, and yeah, you move forward from there. But like I said, I understand your point, good brother. I get where you're coming from. You know what I'm saying? I understand his point. And
Let the record show.
And I understand aspect of your point too, because you're not saying that I can't do the action. It's the why behind but the why behind the concept helps me get to operating within the action. Not saying I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? That's like saying your coach wants you to do run a play a particular way. Well, if you run it differently and you score, goal is still met, right?
Yeah.
But it's just not executed in the way that benefits you from a coaching standpoint of what you actively need to meet full capacity. So I get it.
That's all. I didn't.
We made
Wanna
it.
dominate the
We
conversation.
there.
So no disagreement on getting the full picture. On
Yeah.
what you're understanding.
And
I'm
I
with
do
you
have
on
a question though.
And no disagreement on executing. Just want to know you a little bit more, brother.
That's all.
That's it. You gotta know your personnel.
You gotta know your personnel.
Gotta know your personnel. You know the man learned differently, so you know what I'm saying. You gotta do a little different. You know what I mean? But I got a question though. Why when I at E's party, E ain't invite me to the party? What's up with that? I know E.
Because it wasn't his party. It was actually his kid's celebration.
It was a double. It was
Yeah.
a double jam. They both had a cake.
Yeah, they both had a cake.
I like cake.
It was a 2-for-1.
We
And Troy, I saw on socials how you gave a toast at his party.
Oh, he did give a toast.
Don't ever get no toast like that again, bro. That's why I should have been at the party, E. I could have told it. Don't ever get no
Why?
toast. Like
He
that
did give a
again.
toast.
No, I okay, so if you haven't seen the video, it's on my
Of course,
page.
they haven't seen it.
Yeah, you haven't seen the video. Of course. But on my page, I basically said that this is a big birthday to celebrate because we had some close calls with death in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm happy to celebrate you. Now, while I'm saying I'm happy to celebrate you, I also have to slight you at the same time because that's just who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to the ugliest brunette that I know,
Right.
happy birthday.
Yeah. Don't do that no more.
I know Lace not talking about speeches at birthdays.
What you mean?
You haven't been invited to my birthday since the last
So
speech
that's
you
why.
gave.
That's why I ain't get an invite.
Since the
Okay.
last speech you gave, you've been off the birthday.
What
What
I
did he say?
No, I told this story. This was a long time ago. That's how you know it. I told him he can't come to no more birthday party.
What
This
did
was
he
back
say?
when I actually still went to Red Lobster. We don't even go to Red Lobster no more.
What did he say? said, I don't remember.
I can't even remember how old I was turning, but it was a birthday. Put the people.
This was laughing at the outfit.
Yeah,
that's all we
it's
did.
my outfit. But you was making speeches, basically roasting me for the whole birthday, made it embarrassed me in front of my child, my spouse, everything like that. He ain't been into a birthday party since. We've linked up for my birthday, but he ain't been to a birthday party.
Good. Okay.
I'm gonna
that
extend
impacted
some
you in
grace
that
and
way. I
respond and
apologize,
reply them next time.
Okay.
I'm gonna extend some grace. We gonna run it back.
Run it back.
What was we supposed to be talking about? We got sidetracked.
Because you want to talk about doing.
Look, he the one that brought it up. He was talking about big leaps and promoted a conversation.
How did we get on that topic? I don't even know how we got there, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. But we got there. That's all that matters.
We did get there. Elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Elephant in the room. My hair is braided.
It is.
Yes, it is.
And I'm pretty sure we didn't went through all these episodes and Cass is like, so we just not gonna talk about Troy's hair braid. So I'm in I just got my hair braided. This is the second braiding. The first braiding I got, took some pictures, sent it to some friends. At least I thought who were friends.
You notice he sent it to our group.
He did not send it to our group.
I did.
No, you
you
did.
didn't.
After the fact.
Yes.
Because this is the second braid.
Yeah, this is the second braid. The first braid I sent to you.
Was that the first braid?
Yeah, that was the first
Oh,
braid.
okay.
Yeah. I sent the first braid to you.
Oh no, that was his pre-warning. He was like before y'all
Right,
see
before-
it.
yeah,
Before y'all see it,
He was like,
yeah,
before
dog.
y'all see it.
Exactly. So I got the braids. I sent this to some friends to say, hey guys, new year, new me, new season, whatever type of stuff, blah, blah, blah. And one of my friends replied back and said, man, you made a big purchase. You went to Jamaica and now you got braids. Are you having a midlife crisis right now? And I laughed, but then I was like, I just we have that type of relationship where I feed into it. It's like, yes, of course I'm having a midlife crisis. I don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe I'm having a midlife crisis. But what happened is I went to my wife and I said, it has occurred to me that someone thinks that I've going through a midlife crisis. She said, you absolutely. And I was like, what do you mean? Why you say I'm going through a midlife crisis? She said, you have all the symptoms of a midlife crisis. I'm like, so you just wasn't going to say nothing to me about
she
it?
just let it ride.
And I was like, so what are the things? And she basically broke it down. She was like, you're going through a period of self-reflection. And you're questioning things in your life, and you feel as though part of your life is gone and you haven't gotten to where you want to be. And so not only did you, going to Jamaica was really big for us. You know what I'm saying? Not only that, you change your hairstyle and you're also going back to school.
Yeah.
And she was like, those are all symptoms of someone going through a midlife crisis. And I sat with that for a little bit, and and I was like, yeah, I 100% am going through a midlife crisis. Now I don't have no motorcycle. You know
That's
what I'm
what I was
saying?
about to say.
I ain't got no motorcycle. I ain't got no fast car. I'm not trying to do nothing like that. But I think for me and my reflection, there are some things that I haven't been able to do because of the environments that I've been in. And the environments that I've been in, I've allowed to hinder me.
Mm-hmm.
And with those hindrances, I have not been able to be myself. So that's one thing. Second of all, career-wise, I'm not where I want to be. And it's seeming the way that I'm going, I have to buy completely into it. And we all know in the field of that I work in, you can only move up if you got that terminal degree.
Mm-hmm.
In some senses, you don't need a terminal degree. It's like all about who you know. But unfortunately, my skin color doesn't provide that opportunity in some situations, to put me there. And circumstances. So I won't say it's just all about my skin color, but it is also circumstances because I've had some offers to to advance my career, but it would make for me to have to leave some things behind that I'm not willing to leave behind right now. And so, and the braids specifically, I have been, um, what's the phrase? Oh my gosh, I have been in code switch world. Higher education is code switch world. Now, Lace, you probably been yourself your whole career, but you understand. You understand why you shake your head.
Yeah, why I gotta get that energy? Why you shaking your head, man? Why? Why?
Self is relative.
In the realm, a lot of the higher ups are it's predominantly white. And so in my previous institution where I was, it made it hard for yourself to be unapologetically black. I think you might have expressed some because we were at the same institution. Sometimes it felt restrained in order to be your black self. And I pushed the boundaries as much as I could, as much as I felt comfortable. And I felt like now just like I don't want to code switch anymore. I just want to be Troy. I want to be me. I want to be able to be a jovial while also being serious and not caring about anyone else's perception on me except for the God that I serve and the people that I love. You know what I'm saying? And so this is something that is serving me and something that I wanted to do. And I'm glad I made that. I'm glad I made that jump.
So the braids was the jump, or all the other stuff that you?
It's a whole bunch of other stuff. To be quite honest with you, it was everything. And the braids just provided an opportunity for me to show that outwardly. Because if I were to just go back to school, everybody be like, oh, he's going back to school. Wouldn't nobody think anything different. You know what I'm saying? But this is like, okay, this is kind of out of Troy's character. He looks like he's from LA. He's a gangbanger. And and that doesn't necessarily fit the narrative, the neat narrative that I can see Troy in.
So I guess question, who created the narrative of Troy? Because you speak a lot of how like people view
Absolutely.
you, what you are willing to do, those kind of things. But who created that narrative other than you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I've created a narrative for other people so that I can make them feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I don't really care about your comfort as much as I care about my own.
Right. And I think that's
a maleism, to be quite honest with you. And you don't think that we listen to you, Melvin. We don't think we hear or understand you. But in reality, when we were having those conversations and you were giving pushback, I was like, you know what? It's okay for me to be who I am.
Yeah.
As long as I am not going outside of the bounds of the God I serve and the people that I love, everything's cool.
Right, because I think too sometimes you can, or people in general can put certain barriers, internal barriers around their own success. Not saying that you've done that,
Yeah,
but in the sense of how you want to present, how you always want to protect how other people view you and stuff like that. At the end of the day, they go view you how they want to view you, regardless.
Yeah.
So the fact that you are on this journey, I wouldn't necessarily call it a midlife crisis. I would call it an awakening, if you will. Whereas you are walking in your own shoes and not worried about other aspects and being unapologetically you in an appropriate manner. So you gotta do what works for you, man. I mean, I know y'all always say I'm an a-hole and all this, that, and the third. But when you stop caring about what other people think,
come on, bro.
Like,
I'm telling you,
life is just so much. And the thing is, they know what they go get, because you talking about code switching and that kind of thing. Y'all know how I'm gonna show up. Regardless, y'all know how I'm gonna show up. So now, granted, I could turn it off on whatever, like Mel mentioned, being able to, be a hustler and then put on my boardroom hat. But that's me though.
Right.
Yeah. Like that's me. I always been like that. So I think walking in the and feeling comfortable walking in your shoes is key.
Yeah, and that's it. I gave myself a license to walk in my own shoes.
All right, now.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is.
That's what's up.
And I'm cautious with the be you type of narrative, because sometimes some of the yous out there don't need to be who you are, to be quite honest. Because and here's the thing, once again, I completely understand the areas in which I do need to check, but if I have perimeters in which I can function in, why am I, if my perimeter is larger than I perceive it to be, why am I just not enjoying those perimeters? You know what I'm saying? I've just stayed right here, but the perimeter in which I can enjoy things is within inside of this table. And I'm okay with that, and I can explore that. You know what I'm saying? But if I go outside of that table, I know I'm violating some type of code or ethic or morality or a boundary that I have, and that's going to not be me, and that's not who I want to be. But I do know if I do have some liberty, I want to exercise it.
Do that, man. I'm happy for you, bro.
Yeah,
I'm glad you're doing that. I know that's real big for you. That is a major leap, just because we kind of talk about it all the time, like you said, about code switching, kind of governing yourself, making sure you fit the ideals that you feel like other people have, about you and the esteem and stuff like that. So, keep doing it, bro. If you ever want to talk about it, I'm the best person for it.
I would disagree with that.
I'm the best person.
I would disagree with that.
I'm the best person.
Why you disagree?
Because I'm going to keep it a buck with you. You know what I'm going to tell you to do. You mean, hey, do you in a way like you mentioned, as long as it doesn't exploit or hinder where you want to go or what you're trying to do. I'm going to kick it to you. I'm going to keep it a bean with you. Like, that's just what it is, man. Because too many of us walk around worried about everything other than the bottom line, and that is aspects of your happiness, aspects of how you can strategically move in spaces that are different than where we don't see a lot of us in. So being able to navigate that is key. So you can be strategic and still be yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's key.
Even the podcast itself was a boundary,
Something
that went beyond me, because I remember because my uncle listens to the podcast, and I came home to my grandma's house once, and he was there, and he was like, "Hey, I heard what you said on that last podcast," and I was like, "Yeah," and I started to talk about it out loud, and he was like, "Hey, your grandma don't need to hear this," and but I was concerned about how people would feel about me being behind a microphone talking about concepts and topics that may not be, and using language that is not normal for me. You know what I'm saying? Or in a public sense. You
It's
know what I'm
normal
saying?
for you. It's just not normal for them to see you use it.
right.
Yeah, right. And so because normally what I've been seeing publicly is behind pulpits and stuff like that. And I felt like it was going to diminish my character in the sense of, but in essence, it actually has enhanced it.
Now,
In some essence, because people are like, "Oh, you're human.
Right.
You're human," and I don't see you doing anything that is violating the given liberties that you can have, but I can see you pushing them a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And so it has helped out. And surprisingly, the majority of my friends who are waist deep in the church, I'll be the main ones that I know be watching this joint.
yes, that's what I'm not, bruh. This is a beautiful moment. I'm gonna get a little emotional right now, just because I've been having this conversation with Troy for a long time. Both of you, actually, because I used to not like get into it with y'all, but we used to get into it because I used to say all the time to y'all, why y'all not being yourselves? Why you not being yourself on a podcast? And you kept saying, I am being myself. I am.
I think I am.
I mean, I
being
was
myself. To a certain degree, you were
Yes.
being yourself. There were things that you were still guarding about yourself. And I was saying yourself is the reason that we wanted to do this to begin with. Yourself is what's going to pull people to what we're trying to do right now. And how are you going to pull the people if you're not using the bait that God gave you to catch, you know what I'm saying, the people with. So to finally hear you just say out loud, like, yeah, I was being a little tempered, I was being a little guarded, but now I'm trying to be more open to just showcasing myself without fear of judgment, those type of things. I think that that's a good moment. Lace, I'm like, you know what?
I was about to say, clap it up for Mel.
I'm trying to look.
I'm sitting here listening.
I'm trying to have community with Troy, right? And connect. And I'm looking over. All I see is Lace. Yeah.
Cause see, this is the problem with
Yeah.
people. My nonverbal communication. I'm simply
You need some practice, nigga. Go in the mirror and practice how your nonverbal coming off, because your nonverbal.
Nonverbal was very loud.
I'm literally listening to what you have to say for comprehension.
You may be listening, but it's the body language and the posture that make you be like, this the condescending nigga. I'm about to- like,
That's why you can't do good by cats. Look, yo. This is exactly why.
You can do good, bro. I see you listening. It don't look like.
Why you gotta be a bobblehead?
That's how it is.
That's not how I was doing.
When you go back and look at it,
I was doing just like this.
When we go back and watch
I'm
it,
listening.
When we go back and watch it,
I'm listening.
Yeah.
You was making good points.
Look,
you was making good
no,
points.
No, it's cool. So I'm just happy. Legit, I'm happy for you, bro. I've said it before. I've said it 1,000 times. The most freest and most delivered you will ever feel is when you get deliverance from people. Once you can be free of worrying about other people's judgment, what they think about you, how you should live, what they want you to do, when you could just be like, this is who I am, this is how I'm gonna be, your life just in some ways it just gets a lot easier.
Sure.
You just feel a whole lot freer. So I'm just, like I said, I'm excited for you to be free, bro.
Yeah.
It's gonna change a lot for you.
It is. It's stop it, Lace. I can see you out the corner of my eye. Stop it.
Listen, bro.
But with new powers, great responsibility is needed to be had. You know what I'm saying? So I still, while I do have this gift of liberty that I've felt, it's been grace to me. I still have to be responsible for it. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't just abuse it. And that's one thing I'm just being mindful of the whole time. It's like, all right, I have this liberty. Let me not outstep myself and chalk it up to, oh, I'm just exploring my liberties. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, you have a liberty, but you don't have to abuse it, type of thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that's key. That's key.
So I don't know anybody out there who's going through a midlife crisis, but if you are, I'm right there with you, cuz I'm right there with you.
So what's gonna be the next phase of this midlife crisis experience? Like, what you gonna do next?
Well, part of it too. I this is another reason why I'm starting a degree in August. If you ever watch TV shows, whenever there's a new season, something changes up.
Mm-hmm.
Either the background changes, they add a new scene. I remember in Martin, they colored the cabinets. You know what I'm saying? In Martin's house. People get whatever case may be. It's when they make those changes, it symbolizes that there's a new season ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, my hair is an indication that there's a new season going through. And I would love to get to the point of like being able to dread myself up, and let this be my academic pursuit season. And then we'll just go from there. After this 3 to 4 years is done, if I want to keep them, I keep them. If I don't, I don't.
That's what's up.
Yeah. Jay-Z has this thing about him, and I kind of got that from Jay-Z, from Jay-Z too. Jay-Z does this thing where if he's working on an album or he knows an album of his is going to be coming out, he'll let his hair grow out through the whole working process. But he won't get a haircut until the process is over. And so if you go back in time, you see that this is not the first time Jay-Z has had his hair in a long form. And it's because he's working on something. And so it's kind of like an indication, like I'm working on something in the process.
Dreads, tats, clothes. That's usually where they go next after the stuff that Troy listed. It's one of those three. He chose dreads.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He may do ink one day.
Maybe.
I don't see myself doing ink, bro. I think it's an expensive habit.
Expensive. Only if you. So here's the thing. I don't think that people say tattoos are addictive.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that tattoos are addictive. I think the people who have a lot of tattoos went into it knowing that I'm going to get a lot of these.
Right.
And the people who don't. They're like, I want that one symbol, a couple that symbolize something specific. But the people who are tatted up, they knew they were going to be, You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like an addiction. It was like, all right, I got that first one. Now let me hurry up and get to the rest of my plan because this was my plan to begin with. So I don't know if it would be like a habit for someone like you. You've gone this long without getting it. I think if you were to get one, it'd be something pretty symbolic to you, or whatever it is for you to carry it around.
Yeah. Clothes for sure.
Clothes for sure.
Definitely clothes for sure.
Most people change their clothes every 5 years.
Yeah. Got to get rid of the old to make room for the new. Yeah, but I can't see myself doing the tattoos because if I get one, I need another one to complement it. And then on top of that, then on top of that, it's like, but I can't even, outside of displaying them, they don't serve me.
They could, depending on why you're getting them.
Yeah, I mean, the symbolisms could mean something to you. It could be a constant reminder of XYZ to keep you focused, keep you grounded. You never know.
There will be.
Sometimes people be lying with their tattoos.
No, I agree.
It's like wishful thinking.
Yeah,
One of my
I agree.
homeboys who shall remain nameless is one of the laziest individuals I've ever seen. And he got a tattoo that says no days off.
Yeah, I recall. And he's taking way more.
Plenty of days
Yeah,
off.
Plenty.
Do you understand me?
Yes, that's true.
What happens when he hears this?
Hey, get to work. I hope he here.
I guess he might be clocked in by then. No days off.
But yeah, I don't. I have told myself it's a possibility I would get a tattoo to symbolize a memorial, but outside of that, I don't know if I would do anything too extensive. Thank y'all for letting me share about my midlife crisis.
Sure. I'll
That's what's
see
up.
my copay afterward.
Right.
We get done with the episode. Now, I feel like, I ain't going to say now, I think I went through a midlife crisis before 40. Like closer to 30. I think I fast-tracked mine because I went through the same thing. Got dreads, got a whole bunch of tats, got a motorcycle, just started doing a whole bunch of, different stuff.
Because you do what you wanna
trying
do.
to. I mean, I do what I want to do.
He does do that.
But I did all of it at the same time, just like rapid. Like, let me just grab on, to every tattoos was always gonna be a thing. So that wasn't like something that I did, but out of nowhere, just I'm gonna grow dreads, I'm gonna get a motorcycle, I'm gonna get my license, I'm gonna do all this stuff. It just happened all at one time, I guess, trying to figure out, kind of like you, not feeling like I was where I wanted to be, feeling like there were some things that were holding me back because, either through marriage or parenting, you don't have as much flexibility to do what you want to do. You sacrifice it for other people. So then you start to feel like, well, where am I in the process?
Yeah.
So then you start feeling like you missed on so much that you just start trying to do everything that you feel like you missed out on at one time. So I feel like I went through that period of life already. Not to say it can't happen again, but I feel like I did it a little bit earlier than most people did with the whole midlife crisis thing.
And struggle, right?
No, of course everybody has struggle. I'm not that much of an anomaly. Everybody has struggle, but it's all in how you approach it. I mean, struggles look different. In a lot of ways for different people. I mean, I think we have, like, for me personally.
Let my man get it off, man.
No, I ain't worried about man. I'm letting him do him. But you know what I mean? Having a child premature and those kind of things, those various things you have to navigate. Who was trying to do that at 23, 24? You know what I'm saying? Like, so you got to move different. You got to grow up faster. You got to be able to accommodate and provide and those kind of things. So it is what it is. But I've never viewed it as necessarily crisis. More so, I got to move different to make ends meet or to meet the need of that situation, person, or whatever. So that's all.
But that's how it started for me. It started off of, I want to make moves. I want to see this happen. I want to see that happen. Okay, I need to do something radical. You know what I'm saying? And that was the whole going to school part. And I was like, well, I didn't think I was going to do that. What else did I think I wasn't going to do? Let me just try this too. You know what I'm saying? It did start with like having a sense of necessity. Because it's like in this new age that I'm going into, it's like I can't be living the way that I used to be.
No, for sure. But I think too, for me, what gets me is I know how some people plan out. Like, this is where I want to be at this stage. This is where I need to be at that stage. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just not how I operate. I am not necessarily go with the flow to the extent for my overall benefit, but strategically placing myself in situations. Whereas if I do this now, I know down the line,
At some
whatever
point,
what that looks like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be able to meet this meet this desire that I have
Mhm.
or whatever. What's always interesting to me is when people are like, well, by this age, I want to have XYZ. Why?
Right.
That's not your call at
Right.
all times. Now, granted, you can plan, etc. You can be be strategic in some ways, but to say like, oh, by 35, I need to be a CEO. What happens if it's at 40?
Yeah.
Or what happens if it or I want to work for myself at 40? Did I want to do that? Not necessarily, but at the end of the day, this is the hand that I was dealt. So now I'm moving like this now. So I mean, it's just, so I don't do the whole because I was actually talking to somebody. It was a couple weeks ago, and they were expressing to me that around their birthday every year, that's when they do their year-long plan.
Mm.
And I'm just like, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
What if it don't work that way? Like, I
Mhm,
mean,
mhm.
what if you put everything else on hold to just do what you want to do for a year to try to meet set goals? What if you don't meet those goals? Then what? Now you looking at yourself. Are you looking at yourself as a failure? Or are you looking at yourself like I didn't accomplish? Like there's a multitude of things that come along with it. What about I just want to be the best person that I can be, do what I got to do, stick to my grind, and it will work out in the end for my benefit. What about that? You know what I'm saying? So there's different ways, different layers, but I've just never been that type to I got to put a 5-year plan together, this, that, and the third. That's cool, but that's just never been my thing.
I'm definitely the 5-year plan type because I think we kind of talked about it before is the feeling of ambiguity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, if I don't have a plan or if I don't have those stages in place, it's a very ambiguous state for me, and it makes me feel like I'm in the wilderness,
Mhm.
like I'm walking in circles. So it's almost like I have to have
Mhm.
this 5, 10, whatever it is, because that's the arrow forward for me. I don't think I've ever been to the extent like you where I'm gonna just do this thing because I know if I sow the seed at some point,
It's gonna come.
it's
too.
gonna come. I'm like,
Right.
this is the start at that thing right there. It's got to come to me by
Mm.
this plan. I haven't necessarily been like that. That's an interesting perspective. I might latch on to some of what you just shared to kind of help me as I move forward because I've always been that if it don't happen by this time type of thing, it'll be a little bit frustrating. Then I'm trying to speed up,
And that's what I'm.
the
and
process
that's more so
or
what I'm speaking to.
or whatever it is.
Now, I'm not saying not have a plan. I'm not saying
I know what
that
you're
you
saying.
shouldn't have a plan. But like for me, I'm gonna plant the seed. I'm gonna water it. I'm gonna tend to it, but it will grow and it will prosper when it's time to. When it's
Right.
harvest time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that looks different for different people. That's all that I'm
Yeah.
essentially saying. Because I know again, as you mentioned, some people have a plan. If I don't hit this goal by set date, now I'm pissed off. I'm frustrated. I'm
That's
looking at
me.
myself as a failure. All these things. Well, no, your process is different, and it may take a little bit longer to get where you want to go. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
Because the only thing you can control in life is yourself.
Fact.
And you do everything you could do, but sometimes life may not turn in the way that you want it to turn.
Absolutely.
And
That's
so
what it
you
is.
have to be willing to make the pivot.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
got to be willing to make the pivot.
I think it has a lot to do with the fact though of us feeling like we don't have time.
The time
so
is the
we're
biggest part.
so we're like this 5-year plan has to work because we feel like we don't have a lot of time. You know, when we're younger, when you 20, you look at 30, you feel like I'm about to be 30. 30 is old as hell. Then you turn 30 and you like, oh, I mean, it ain't that bad. Then you get closer to 40 and you like, oh, I'm about to be 40.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 40 years old. And it's like each stage you realize there's more life left to live as you get to those things. But when you're in the beginning, you making that 5-year plan, you thinking like, I don't have enough time. I don't have a lot of time to make this happen. So I'm trying to do it in this window of time so that I can maximize
Yeah.
whatever this thing is.
Mhm.
So I think that has a lot to do with the reason why people may be so rigid with I gotta do it by this time because it's like I want to maximize the window of time that I get to experience this dream that I have. And if
Mhm.
it comes later, it's like, will it come? How long will I get to experience it? Is it really gonna happen for me? Whatever. So I think that's where it comes from.
Sure.
Like feeling
Yeah, I
like
get it.
The
I get
finite
it.
time. I'm not saying again. I think there's a lot that I could take from your perspective that I could apply to myself because I'm extremely rigid with like if this joint don't pop by, you know what I'm saying, at a certain time, I get irritated
Mhm.
and I get frustrated with others that I feel like could be impacting my timeline
Mhm.
moving forward because some of the timeline incorporates other people.
Mhm.
So then if they're not moving in a way that I think is conducive to the plan that's ahead, could become resentful towards
Right.
the people around me or the people that are involved because I feel like they're not keeping the pace with
And then you appreciate it, but you can't appreciate it as much once the plan is
right
achieved, because at the end of the day, you made it, but it doesn't feel okay. I made it, and then you already on to the. Which again, nothing is wrong with operating like that. I just don't. It hasn't been beneficial for me.
Yeah.
In moving in that space, and I've been blessed. I've had a lot of opportunities along the way, and none of it was like, okay, I gotta be in this position
Right.
by a set date, whatever. You know what I mean? It's been an aspiration, but I think once you, as you mentioned, your character, how you move, how you shake, and how you can showcase your skill set in various ways, the doors are open for you. Your gifts open the door for you.
Absolutely. And that's what I want to do. I want to be me. And so the gift that I was given of being myself opens those doors.
Yeah.
And not playing by other people's rules.
Right. Because, I mean, people ask me all the time, well, did you think you was going to be in Syracuse? Why would I have thought about that? No.
Right.
That was the last place I thought I would have been. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, gifts open the door and did what it had to do. Now on to the next. So it's just like it is. Yeah. So
fruitful podcast, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really good.
Grown man conversation.
absolutely.
Grown man talk.
Gotta do it.
Grown man talking. With that
Gotta
being
do it.
said, it's your boy T. Roy, Life Coach Lace, Melly Mel. We out.